So whoa, I just decided to not hit the intro button and took us live immediately because I am bad at clicking things. Holy shit. My bad. There was supposed to be a whole intro drop and some other things, and I was going to tell Brian we were going to go live, but instead what I did was click the wrong button and take us live immediately because I have technological mastery.
Because you're a technical genius.
I'm basically Tony Stark. But more,
if Tony Stark was an inept toddler, yes, you are correct.
Hey, look, we both had an alcohol problem, all right? I've got stuff to talk about today. Brian wants to talk about things. I want to talk about things. I also want to talk about a Combat Patrol magazine. I got stuff. I have more Eldar than I thought I had. I'm ready to go. Archaeotechnology. Yeah, exactly. I am weirdly knowledgeable how to do things in ancient times. I wouldn't die instantaneously. I would from getting anything wrong with me because I have no immune system apparently. But I can figure out how to find water and make base metals and stuff like that. I would be so ahead of my time in 400 BC.
So you got to play some this weekend, correct?
Yeah, I'm obviously on an Eldar kick, and I've been super excited about it. And I think that the book has a bananas amount of equality inside it. You know what I mean? There's a lot of parity inside the Eldar. I think, like Pete went to Big Pete went to Gary Frank's The Armed Forces and took Seer Council, which I think's way more legit than a lot of people thought. Aspect Warrior is obviously my jam because I've been trying to make that work even when it didn't work at all. So I'm super excited. The Phoenix Lords are badass. The new Phoenix Lord models are badass, so it looks cool now. I am waiting. Hold on, I'm getting my chi together real quick. Woosah. Where's my fucking Karandras? The rumor is I'm supposedly getting it in a combat patrol or something with, fighting Drazar. Basically you got old Scorpion on new Scorpion. But yeah, man, I'm also reading triple Scorps right now because there's not enough trash in that army, and Scorps kind of bang. Plus, they're like one of my favorite units.
And they're like, and I think is I've played against it now 3 times. I think Ynnari got some super good play.
They can rock. I actually think that even Harlequins have some play. I don't like their strats that much, but I like the fact that you can just line up an army. Like you can bring triple Void Reaver and like double Death Chester, and you can just give your opponent the bird on turn 1 because that's all lone op. You know what I mean? So you get a lot more ability to just do dumb shit. You know what I mean? Because you can just sit in the open and zoom out, you know what I mean, the next turn because they're super fast because they're Eldar. So I don't know. I just think there's a lot. I really right now I'm hemming and hawing pretty hard on War Host or Aspect Host because the strats for lethal and sustain are and then the other strat for just ignore all modifiers, including armor, contempt, including damage reduction. Yep. And then of course reroll ones. The funniest thing is half the reason I'm into Aspect Host is because I roll so many goddamn ones. Oh my god, I hate saying this, but love and probability and $2 super chat. Another one for the sandwich fun. Go blue. There's so many people that think I'm a Michigan fan.
Like the big thing that I found playing Ynnari was they at the end of my turn 2 had pretty much taken 4 turns.
Oh, it's crazy.
It was just I was trying to play a Marine list you gave me against it, and I could not wrap my head around how to control that.
Well, it's not old Soul Burst, obviously. You know what I mean? It's not.
No, it's not
abusive,
that,
but they do give you some real positioning issues, which I think are underrated, to be honest with you. And they've got with Battle Focus, you've got some serious speed, man. That's the other reason with Warhost, man. I underrated Warhost. I was like, if I want to fire and fade, that was my big thing. If I want to fire and fade, I'm going to use it. You know what I mean? But like adding an extra inch on everything because they get +1 on the dice or they get just +1 on the move. It is kind of a big deal, and they get an extra one put in, so you always have that extra battle focus for when somebody shoots you and then you're like not dead yet. Like, I'm not dead yet. I think I'll bounce behind this wall because that sounds way cooler than getting shot again. But you can also goof people up. Like, I play multiple games now, both with Aspect Host and with Warhost, where somebody shoots you, almost kills your unit because you are Eldar and you die to a stiff wind, and then you're like, I'm gonna backflip the hell out of here. You can goof up people's shooting phases, and that's what Eldar's all about, making your opponent mad at you.
So the thing that I found the most interesting about facing Yanari more than anything else was the ability to go, I really don't want to kill all that unit because I don't want to give you the free move. Yet if I don't kill all that unit, those last 2 scorpions are going to touch one of my screens and pick most of it up, and I'm going to be really annoyed and put out of position.
Especially those guys with exploding 5s, you know what I mean? It's a big deal on that. Kara's got a good question. I want to throw it out here because I just don't know the answer to it. Because he asks, how many transports are you expecting to see? I have no freaking idea, dude.
I think the number at the most is 1, maybe 2, depending upon what build you use.
I was saying a couple people are running multiples. I'm on 1 right now. My latest list, I just started spamming because I just wanted more bodies. So I was taking three Dark Reapers, 3, all these are 5-mans, 3 Dark Reapers, 3 Scorpions. I took 3 Fire Dragons, but one's a 10-man. I just started putting up, and I only have 1 Wave Serpent. I was originally doing 2 Wave Serpents, then I went a Wave Serpent and a Falcon, but I just wanted more shit. So I ended up with 1 Wave Serpent that kind of is just the stage point for my big dragon unit. But like, you just need more stuff. You know what I mean? So, who actually I didn't think I was gonna have hated forever. I haven't played them since 7th edition. Is Guardians. You know who's just good? Storm Guardians have 6 specials. You can take 2 fusion, 2 flamers, and 2 power swords, and they sticky objectives. They're 100 points, so I don't think they're my go-to, but like, it's pretty tasty because you put like a Shadow Weaver battery on your home, sticky it with the Storm Guardians, and then just run. You know what I mean? Yep. Over to the other side, the expansion objective. It is pretty legit though. You know what I mean? Like, having just bodies. Oh, they also have a 5 event wall, which is just legit. You know what I mean?
Yep. I think there's so much play in that Eldar book. We got one small weekend of about half the events running with the Eldar book. So I think next week we'll see a lot more and we'll get a little better feel of it, but I think they're going to be perfectly fine. They won 1 event this weekend.
Yeah, but they got smoked in multiple events. They did. Their overall win percentage was good. They won at 50? I've got it up. I'll pull it up. There we go. But it's
50 something.
Yeah, they didn't come out crazy. But I think that they, like I said, with Eldar, the wheels don't fall off. The wheels explode when they blow up. You know what I mean? Like, they just, shit goes down. Because you make a fuck up, man. That whole army's T3, dude. You know what I mean? It's just crazy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So and the thing is that 100% Zoops. I don't know. Old man scream at Cloud. 100% Carmona. The thing is, Coldstones have a chance against Eldar. Yes. The thing is that you still have to keep him in range. The only times when Eldar is gonna feel shitty is when you don't have something between you and them. Like, the elite armies are going to feel worse because Fire Dragons and company, you're going to have Azerman and Dire Avengers are going to be in every list because he can shoot and scoot, plus he goes Super Saiyan 1 turn. But then you're going to have dragons pop out, backflip into their objective. You're going to have, Lycus in probably most lists because you can just wait until turn 3, 4, or 5 and she just goes 24 and then just charges. But that list is going to feel really, really strong.
Does she have something that allows her to charge after the flicker jump? Because I know normally you can't.
Yeah, so her rule is that after whoever she joins can flicker jump and charge. So you basically hold her, back for a couple turns, and then late game, you zoom up, you flame something, and then between her and the Exarch, they've got 20 AP2 attacks. So you just come in and you just beat up on randos in the backfield. You don't want to be putting them into real shit. You just want to be smoke checking shit. So it, I think it's big, but the big thing is like, again, the your elite armies are going to feel sometimes like they got bad touch because they're going to blow stuff up. You know what I mean? You're going to take 10 Dark Reapers at full rerolls with sustained and lethal. You're going to split fire. You're going to kill 2 tanks. You're going to kill some other shit. But there's going to be a lot of games, man, especially against like guard and shit like that. Guard, GSC, anybody that just has enough shit to put in front of you. 90% of their guns, if you're not including the Dark Reapers, are shooting 12 and 18, man. You know what I mean?
And that's part of the reason why I think the meta's in, for the most part, a good spot, because there feels like for most armies, and then we'll get to the ones that I don't think that are part of this, there's a yin to a yang, right? Like guard, Eldar is going to have some problem with indirect.
I think they're going to wreck them, dude.
It's going to have some problems. I think as Space Marines drop Desolation Marines, probably 10 of them back into, 2 5-mans or possibly 110, depends on everything. But as they slam them back into lists, that'll be problems for Eldar, I think, going forward. So we're just going to see a shift of a couple different things in the meta pop up.
If you just keep that space, I mean, that's a big deal. In Pratt, they're talking about that. It just, even like Marines, like outright, just any unit that's cheap and can move fast, if Eldar can't get on you, they have a bad trade. That's why I changed my list so much, too, because I was originally feeling really good, but then if I played anything with trash in, I was having real problems. And if Eldar have a real problem with, hey, I'm touching an objective with nonsense, what are you going to do about it? You know what I mean? Especially if you sticky an objective and go, cool, shoot me off this and leave. I still have this. You know what I mean? What are you putting here? Every unit costs 95 points. You know what I mean? So it's like, nothing's super expensive, but nothing's cheap, So I guess Scorpions are 75, but like the majority of that other shit's 90, 95, you know what I mean? 100 for the Fire Dragons. You don't want to throw that shit down. The unit that I really want to include, I haven't got into, I've done it in the Seer Council, is 4 Warlocks throws down some goddamn pain, especially if you jump them out of a Falcon. They have 4d6 plus 8 flamers, and then you can put 4 singing spears on them for 4 strength 9 attacks. That doesn't, especially when you're re-rolling all wounds, because you came out of a Falcon, that shit doesn't fuck around, man. You know what I mean? I like that quite a bit. I don't know. I'm very excited. Obviously, I like Eldar a lot, but like I'm very excited about what's going on. But I like the counterplay quite a bit. Like we're talking to Barsati about what he's bringing to Adepticon, and he's going to bring Bridgehead with some artillery teams and mortar teams and some trash units, and then of course a couple scions dropping down with the command squads. And I'm like, that's kind of a nightmare for Eldar. He's also got like a Rogaldorn battle tank, so if you show your face, they just get blown up. Also, that shit's not easy. If you keep your distance from the fire dragons, if you could put something between you and dragons with like a Rogaldorn command tank, that thing just doesn't get killed. You know what I mean? You got to figure that you're shooting a bunch of strength 10 at it at best. I mean, you got to, a Bright Lance or 2 here and there. But like, that's just not easy to take care of. You know what I mean? And you just get bombed. Good luck hanging out with your units of Dark Reapers and shit like that. If he's just indirecting you into a dimension of suck. So I think that's going to be tough. I think that the elite armies are going to have more choice. There is more scissors, paper, rock than there has been in a long time. Like, you got to figure like Death Watch bringing huge 10-man units has been jacking shit up. You saw, Hurdle crushed with it. Gator was doing well.
I think Death Watch put an absolute thumping on Eldar.
Oh yeah, well that's the thing is that you go. I think the scissors paper rock on it because I think they smoke check Eldar, but then Tac Orcs came out and 3 tank buster units will just put a huge beating on that. You know what I mean? Strength 10 MP3, 3 damage. Picks up like the whole unit because they're blast. All of a sudden you're like, hey, I got a 25 shots. You're dead, kind of thing. So like and I don't mind that to be fair. I don't actually mind scissor paper rock meta because it gives you some excitement in what you bring, and you're going to see different stuff. Like, well, I just went to North Carolina last week. Last week, 2 weeks, I don't know, some amount of time, and I played 5 different things. You know what I mean? And that's even without New Eldar on that. You know what I mean? So I played 5 different armies in 5 games, and I love that. I hate when I play the same shit all the time. You know what I mean? Because one list is dominant. So I love this. Or their tank commanders do bring the Herzubs. Holy shit!
So my big thing is the data slate, which was now 7 weeks ago. There was some very good balance to that, but man, there were some clear losers in that data slate.
Let's talk about that before we go to the meta. I want to do that.
Yeah. So for me, the big losers in this, and this is and
hold on, let's do a poll. Hold on. I'm gonna let you talk a little bit about each one. Tell me who were the biggest losers.
The biggest losers were Sisters, Admech.
Hold on, I'm gonna have them rate. Hold on, I can only type so fast. I'm an old man with bad everything. Sisters,
Admech, Votan.
Ooh, yeah, Votan got nothing. And Votan didn't even lose.
Yeah, they lost by other games, right?
True, they got nothing.
Black Templar.
That's as many as I can get.
Drukhari, Chaos Knights, and then the outlier as a loser on this was T-Suns.
I'm gonna take out Admech because I don't like that one as much. I'm gonna put in Chaos Knights because I think that regular Knights got buffed up, and then Chaos Knights just didn't. I actually talked to a couple guys at the tournament about that.
Yep. So I mean, the clear big loser was Sisters went from a good win percentage to complete and utter garbage. Even their main faction specialists are struggling to pull things together. A lot of really good players who love Sisters, who are very good at them, are just like, oh my God, what do I do against X, Y, and Z? My points don't line up. There's just, I die too easily to a stiff breeze. And it's tough when you're relying on tanks to get around in the US around a GW board. In the world, around the WTC board. It's a different thing. Chaos Knights got nothing. They didn't get enough points adjustments. They didn't get any rules gain. And their Grotsmith's detachment was the biggest hot garbage ever.
That was their Grotsmith's detachment wasn't even close. It was by far the worst detachment. It was so bad. Oof.
And Votan just didn't gain anything. Their Grotsmith detachment didn't do anything for them. It didn't give them any benefits. It just existed. And Black Templar didn't gain any benefit from anything.
It got hit everywhere. I'll give you the Black Templars a lot because I wouldn't even say just the data slate. The problem is we had all those like small FAQ nerfs and the data slate. Black Templars took more collateral damage than anybody since Sisters took when Grey Knights got nerfed 3 times. You know what I mean? And it had nothing to do with them. So they basically didn't get any bonuses, but they got all these like small negatives that really just brought them down, and they got nothing. I don't think Votan didn't get any nerfs. They just didn't get any buffs at all. So it was like they got a side nerf, I guess. And their Grotsmith's detachment, I don't think it's bad, but it didn't help, I guess.
Yeah, and thanks Jake for shouting out the art store or quick shipping. I appreciate that.
Love it. 1,000 Suns is I don't know if it's a grade 3 and 2 army. I think that the problem is that what they did was they made it so that there's an even greater divide between the best players and everyone else. I mean, it's such there's a chasm. You have a couple players that are amazing with 1,000 Suns, and then you just fall off a cliff.
You have TJ Lanigan, and then everyone else.
Oh, you got what's his face? I'm killing on his name right now. I mean, I just saw him too.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. But
he's really good with that too. You know what I mean? But it's like I'm saying, you have a handful of players,
TJ, who are amazing with 1,000 Suns, and they can bring them to the precipice Like they can. TJ got him into the shadow round at LVO,
There you
right?
go, Malachi Fall. There you go. So,
Thank you.
Matt Aaron coming with the 1999 super chat. Thank you, brother. Matt Aaron, cheers, fellas. It's good to see you, brother.
Thank you. Nice to hear from you, Matt.
They're taking Kronz to Adepticon
Yeah.
teams this year. Oh, Eddie coming in with a $4.99 super chat. Uh-oh, what do we got? No way Space was the worst Grotmas. It was a retired attachment we saw last edition that no one took. We got regifted last year's fruitcake. You know what? I argue that last year's fruitcake was still better than the shit sandwich that the Chaos Knights got served, Eddie.
Absolutely.
You got nothing. I agree. You got nothing, and it was already there.
And Thousand Suns got less than nothing, and their detachment was still better than Chaos.
Yeah, it still wasn't a negative.
I mean, here's the thing. If you take out the top 3 T-Suns players and the top 2 Drukari players, out of all the rankings, their win rates drop astronomically.
I don't know why did they get the points nerfs, by the way? Like, I thought that army was
Drukari got I really think someone doesn't like Skari at GW's headquarters, played against him in an event and went, screw that guy.
I like that army quite a bit, but I like elves. You know what I mean? Like, we've taken it to teams and stuff like that, but it's a very niche army. You have to know exactly how to play. And shit, that's even worse than Eldar with wheels falling off. You know what I mean? You get nuclear bombed because, like, everything, you could accidentally lose half your army with Dark Eldar. You're like, oh no, somebody opened the door, all my models fell down. Like, they all die.
Yeah, and I mean, here's the thing. I mean, look, there's always a bottom tier army. There's always a top tier army.
Sure, I think we're all cool with that.
This edition, it feels like there's been a bottom 3 or 4 pretty much nonstop. The top's been never, with the exception of the very beginning of the edition where Knights and Eldar were on a different level and playing a different game than everybody else. This edition has had a variety at the top for quite a while, which is great. I just want to see those other armies come back up to the pact. I don't think you need to bump other stuff down currently. I think there's nothing winning at such a crazed win rate that you're like, oh, that's ridiculous. I mean, yes, the excess army for demons is good, but I think that's an outlier as people learn how to play against it.
100%. And I still think it's a better team. I think it's one of the best team armies, though. Mm-hmm. That thing bangs if you keep its predators away from it, basically. Yep. What the big thing is, and I don't want to throw them completely under the bus because I don't want them to go back onto their Mount Olympus. I'm always afraid of angering the gods in Nottingham or wherever the hell they are. Because, you know, the old men here know, you know, when they never talk to us, it was pretty sucky. But, like, they've done a very hit and miss job of recognizing that it's more important to raise the bottom than it is to nuke the top. Because for years, their response was always lightning bolt from the mountain on whoever's winning too much, your army's dead kind of thing. And I think they've done hit and miss. They've done a decent job. Because, I mean, think about it. We originally, early on, we took Death Guard and Votan, who were laughably in the bottom for a while, and we picked them up. And then we did it again. We did it with Dark Eldar with the Sky Splinter and did a couple other things. But then they've missed a couple times. We've had a couple armies just wandering around in the bottom. I agree with you, but it's not like it's one thing that, apparently I'm having a stroke on screen for a change, not just in my home. They go to, one of the biggest things is that they've shown that they know to do it and that it helps. Mm-hmm. So I am optimistic that we can fix this, but I think that is one thing that we have to say
looking at fixing things right now. I think you can fix Sisters with points. Like, I can honestly say that I look at Sisters and go, this is primarily a points problem. They got hit with too many points increases
for no reason,
and the miracle dice change all at the same time. Well, it was too much. It was too harsh. If they fix the points, they can kind of fix that army and bring it back up to a modest win rate in between, 48 and 52 without too much difficulty. I think that's That's pretty good.
They just need more stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the thing is you can, when you change a mechanic, if you're gonna, I want to change mechanics more often because I usually think they're actually
Yep.
the heart of the problem. I mean, we took forever to do that. We kept trying to point broken shit at the beginning of the edition, and it did absolutely fuck all. We did it at
Yep.
eighth. You know what I mean? When we had Soul Burst, speaking of a shitty rule, you know what I mean? Well, they tried to point that for a year. You know what I mean? And then they finally just took the mechanic and kicked it and booted into the sun. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to sort of rework shit. You can't, points don't fix shit if you've got a broken rule. So, yes.
Yeah. Anna, I, again, is I play my sisters very sparingly, as in very little. Um, Everything I've seen with them, I've watched them do well, but like at their point cost, they don't have enough on the table to just do and exist. So I think points is the first fix. That might be a two-step problem. I don't think it is, but it could be. I think Votan is they are waiting for their book. I really feel like that. It to me feels like they need a couple more units to flush that book out a little bit more, along with lowering the points on some of their very underperforming units.
As a lore nerd, they're also supposed to push the story with them. The Votan, yep. They're going to supposedly flesh out who and what they are and what's going on. Because they kind of left the story hang with Votan of what the last couple meets are and what's going on with them.
Well, they just had that new book come out, which I have not read yet. Was it the Con or something like that just dropped not but a month or so ago? So I would like to look at that and see what they put in that. But I think that's just an unfortunate waiting for the book a little bit. Black Templar, I think they just got hit so many times with points increases that they just pushed it too far.
My thing is, again, the Black Templars, I don't think they were trying to fix the Black Templars. That's the problem. And I know I'm going to give a 2-second on my soapbox, but like they have to, and they're doing it now. You've seen them doing it. They've done it with Eldar. They're starting to do it with the Chaos books. You got to put those points in each person's book. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because Blood Angels is doing well, you shouldn't be nerfing Salamanders, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Separate the goddamn books. I don't know why we did that. It just makes it more difficult. Maybe it was some sort of ease for them, but man, it seems like in the back, it's one of those things that just keeps coming back to bite you later. You know what I mean? And they need more frequent small things. Joe came on, he tried to fix their sister's points bumps, and then they steamrolled people, but then they fixed. It is a process, and I think that people have to be more understanding for a lot of small nerfs. I just would rather see them nerf things every 2 months, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Nerf and buff. The problem is we wait too long, and then people get mad about something, and then if they don't fix it right away, everybody's angry. But I think that they've handled like multiple 2 OP armies pretty well. You know what I mean? In the past, because you just don't want someone to not be able to play their army. I don't care, and that's just me. And I wildly, it's my opinion, it's just my opinion. But like, I just don't give a shit about OP armies that much as long as they're interactive armies. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think Drukhari have been hit so many times with point increases that I don't understand what they did to make someone so angry.
Oh, and it's an army that has to have a bunch of shit because that's how the army works. The Drukhari army is supposed to have a billion small things all over the place. You know, the only time that wasn't the case was when we actually had a Drukhari problem, which was, the liquefier problem wasn't a problem. That was a fuck up, and we had it for a blip. But the thick city with all the shit from the covens, that was the one time that we had a Drukhari issue, and that's when Drukhari weren't playing like Drukhari. You know what I mean? They didn't have a bunch of stuff. They had a bunch of big shit. You know what I mean? And unkillable big shit is never fun for other people.
And Chaos Knights, I think it's a mixture of Battle Shock when it works is amazing. As a Tyranid player, I can tell you when it goes off, it's super fun and it's a ton of great things. But it's a turn for them. And Chaos Knights, it's randomly every once in a while someone fails a Battle Shock test and it affects a moniker of outcomes. I think that's a mixture of army rule combined with bad Grotz misattachment. Just
It is. I mean, and I'll give
it's
you, and people have been talking a little bit of Votan in the chat. Here's the thing that I have an issue with right now with Votan is they don't have enough other stuff. So a lot of times you have a very dichotomy game of one person getting smoked or the other person getting smoked. I don't see a ton of super tight game. It's not like you can't have a tight game with Votan, but I see a lot of games where Votan's either putting the beat down or they just run out of cardio and just don't have anything left, kind of thing. You know what I mean? They can't score points. So I'd like to see them. Well, I'd just like to see their book. I mean, we'll see on that because it's just like, I don't know. They just need more. You know, I want them to have more shit.
And the one thing, and I saw this in chat, there's a big difference between playing GW terrain, WTC, UKTC, and I can't remember the name of the terrain they use in Australia, but the Australian terrain setup that I've seen a couple different events have.
Isn't there like basically WTC, but just like modified, like slightly?
It's slightly modified WTC. And I will say that, you know, I've seen some modified GW tables that have made the exact same terrain on GW tables, like better, like Snig's modified table 5.
I loved it.
And not by a massive amount, but a couple inches here, a couple inches there. On
it makes a huge difference though, dude.
Oh, it was such a big difference. It was absolutely brilliant. I plan on using it at Salt City this year because it was just that well done.
It makes Dawn of War and Search actual playable. Like, right, most of the time they're not playable. They're just, I'm sorry, they're just not. It's a shitty, you know, if you fix that terrain like he did, it's props to Snigs because that felt very playable. It gave you something to do.
Yep. And I think as we come to the end of the Pariah Nexus, and I would assume because there's a new campaign book upcoming next week, if I'm not mistaken, that comes out with the guard stuff, that looks like it's going to be, you know, something we will get more of, that the next tournament companion can't be that far behind, because those seem to run semi hand in hand, the campaign books and the tournament packs. So maybe we'll get a little quicker than we were anticipating. Maybe, you know, mid-spring.
Is someone that runs a business that has all the GW stuff. What happened? I thought we were getting our pre-release for Emperor's Children yesterday. Or not yesterday, but 2 days ago. Whatever. One of the days.
So the announcement of it, again, they did say in the spring. I don't know if you've looked outside recently. I'm in the Northeast. I can see out my windows tonight. I'm not seeing the blizzard that it has been for the last few days. But, you know, the 40 mile an hour and gusting winds at, you know, negative 100 billion.
Sure.
It is not quite.
I guess I listened to all the rumor mills too much.
I would assume that we're going to see it within the next 3 weeks come as an announcement.
So Kara's right. Like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps out for the metrics to get us seen to other people, and we appreciate it. And it makes me happy inside because I'm a pretty princess. What?
And so, and another thing, seeing you brought it up, you're talking about Combat Patrol magazine.
Oh, I had to. I'm very interested in this because one of the things that I think that sometimes we do a bad job in the community of, I don't think we're exclusive, but like, this is an expensive hobby, man. And like, getting people into the hobby is a big thing. If we want to continue the growth and continue to have super cool tournaments and everything else, you have to have enough people in the tournament, you know, new people all the time to continue the growth and to make us have really cool shit. And Combat Patrol is one of the ways to do it. This really interested me on them showing how to build an army, how to build some models, and giving you, and I'll give GW props on this, because for the longest times their Combat Patrols used to have somebody took a shit in them and sent them to America. But like, they're actually pretty good on sending you a Combat Patrol of stuff that you can actually play the game with, like right out of the patrol right now.
Mm-hmm. Combat Patrol magazine is a subscription-based magazine that you can subscribe to, and they send you a magazine based upon release dates. It's a bundle, a subscription. If you join late, it's something else. It's all dependent. I don't quite fully understand all of it, but it looks like a good deal.
Joe, what happened to Knights in 1 month? It's shown to be after Guard and Eldar in December, but January it's after the cast stuff. I think they wanted to push the cast stuff because they had a really good market idea, which I think they actually do with the the 4 sets and the limited edition stuff. And to be fair, I think that they possibly want to have them be able to be either allied in, because it's one of the few allies you can now take with everything.
Yep.
I think they want to make sure that they have game balance with the chaos. And
I'm gonna disagree with all that, Brad,
Hit me.
and go. If you haven't noticed, GW is reboxing everything right now to put the faction symbol on the end of the box that points out not just the face of the box.
I would have, if you would have put a gun to my head and asked me that question, I would have just got shot because I have no idea that happening.
With that, as they rebox things, hey, guess what gets put inside? New instruction manuals. Inside those new instruction manuals, they put the new data slates. At one point in time, a knight box got out with one of the new instruction manuals that showed a knight with toughness 11.
Ooh.
A big knight, not a little knight.
Yikes.
And the internet went slightly insane. And then all of a sudden, the knights got pushed back. I'm just saying there may be some correlation there.
Possibly. That's hilarious. Knights are tough though, man, because I've never seen a time when knights were okay. They're just such a skew army, so it's just tough on that. You know what I mean?
I guess the good way to put this is they've either been super good
Knight
and
Lance.
annoying to play against, just annoying to play against, or I'm playing knights. Well, I'm going to win this game. It just depends by how much.
Fucking goddamn it! Absolutely a nightmare.
Absolutely. Please tell me that was Zuber, because that sounds just like
he missed out. He could have had top quote.
Yeah.
That was gaming. Just it's tough on that. Knights go down to T11 but drop decently in points. It'd be interesting. Tell you the truth, if Knights went down to T11 and Little Knights went down to T9 and you drop the points heavily, I actually think that they would play better from both sides competitively.
Yeah.
It's right now the fact that they're T10 and T12 that's actually difficult because they have all the break points. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it makes them harder to kill than they should be, but also they spike up and down. You know what I mean? If you made them a little bit easier to kill, but just brought more of them, it'd be a bigger deal. Because no one's like super bummed about dreads, you know what I mean? So, it is what it is. Yep. Also,
we're never gonna not see knights be on the table at this point because there's just such an iconic unit in 40K, and I think they need to flush that book out a hair more, like add a little bit more to the Imperial Knights, add a little bit of flavoring with Imperial agents to them, and we'll see where it goes.
Speaking of Imperial agents did well. I mean, there's only 3 people that played them, but they did well. They won a tournament.
They have. This is in this data slate period, they've won one.
I mean, this weekend.
I thought it was last weekend.
Last weekend?
They won recently.
All I'm saying is there was 3 people and they did well this weekend. How about that?
Again, if you can't handle a rush of rhinos, cops, and dudes with shotguns,
I am the law. I like that army, to be honest with you. I would like to see more armies just incorporated in. I still don't think that, I know Harlequins got their own detachment, but I like Harlequins just as a side. Because Harlequins show up when shit's going down. I mean, when Harlequins show up, you legitimately know that your craft world's about to have some shit happen. You know what I mean? They do put on the craziest, awesome stuff. But like in the stories, they never show up as an army. They show up and like wreck shit and deuce out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And Anna, I completely agree with you that knights are not handled in the mechanics of the game well, as aircraft weren't. They basically wrote aircraft out of this edition for the most part.
Good, because fuck aircraft. I don't know. I may be a little passionate about my hatred of all things aircraft. It just doesn't work in the game system. It just doesn't. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yes. Is it something that's insanity in real warfare? Yep. However, I also don't have demons or super soldiers to deal with. So give me my fantastical fighting on the board. I don't need things that I can't interact with. Why are aircraft models so cool? Because aircraft are cool, and we should have play like Aeronautica. It's a fun game. Air fighting is awesome, but it's shitty when you have an aircraft that I can't interact with, but somehow you block me from walking. Because apparently Horton goes, whoa, Brad, take a minute. I'm like, why? There's a
appreciate that plane over.
There's a spaceship up. Like, but I just want to walk over there. You can't see that shadow. No, not barely at all. But just you can't go there. I don't like you anymore. What the fuck? So I'm juiced. I'm juiced for the new stuff. But you know what I'm really juiced for? The new lore that come, and I know I'm biased, obviously, because the 40klorecast.com. Please go like and subscribe, or like and follow at that one. Go to the Discord. Discord's now over 6K. We got more than 6,000 people now.
And kudos to you guys. You're doing a phenomenal job with that. Keep rocking it out.
But with the lore, with the new campaign book, that's where they usually push forward what's going on. Yep. And we have a shit ton of cliffhangers right now. There's like a lot of stuff that they just kind of went to be determined, you know what I mean? Next episode kind of thing. You're like, but what's happening? And we've got like a lot. You got Abaddon's doing his thing. We've got the Rift. We've got the Necrons that are semi not fighting with each other as much and talking about closing the Rift. You got the Lions back to do shit. You've got Leviathan's trying to put their finger all the way up the butt of the Imperium. You know what I mean? You've just got a lot of shit going on right now. Like a bunch of stuff is happening. That's the whole reason that we have Leviathan in the tournament season. Leviathan, the Hive fleet is super close to pushing into, they're pushing into real Imperium space, not just the fringes. And we've got a lot of stuff with, obviously, Abaddon's Crusade's still going on, technically. You've got, Angron blew up the Coral engine, wrecked shit, sent that shockwave out. There's just a ton of shit going on, and a lot of that's going to be covered in the campaign book. You know what I mean? At least the stories of it. And they set us up.
I mean, and if you look at it, the Nachman Gauntlet, which now that I can remember things, is the next campaign book. And the nice part about GW with their pre-order window and everything that they put up is they put up some big things on it, and it is very much focused on the incoming stories with the fight of the Imperium Nihilus versus Abaddon. There's a lot more with Harkin supposedly in this book. It's supposed to expand upon that, and if I remember correctly, there's a big battle brewing between the Night Lords and the Adeptus Sororitas.
Yep. You've got some epic conflicts all over the place. Also, we kind of just deuced out on the entire Yannari storyline. You know what I mean? That's still hanging out there, too. Yep. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm very excited for where the lore is. We've had some big hits. We've had a couple of big misses, too, in recent books. But, I've really been enjoying where we're going. And I think that better than the novels, I think that the campaign books and the codices move the storyline better. You know what I mean?
Well, and the campaign book is pushing the Sanguine Terran War, which is going to be a big push, because you're talking about putting together the Guardians, the Despoilers, and the Marauders, in an agenda together.
Yes. I don't know. Just also, Zoobs, don't you put that evil on me. I might even give him that. Said the Yannari storyline's dead. You take that back.
And she slept with Bobby G. Didn't that make it all good? I think as they push forward, and especially because they're trying to make the Black Legion a little more predominant again, and they push Harkin and they push all that stuff, and we get what's really going to be this spring and early summer of chaos. We're going to get some good fun storylines coming up.
100%. And I like a lot of those things they're going. I'm really hoping, and I think they did a decent job of an Eldar, and I wish they would have done more Craft World. I thought the guard book was really good, but it didn't give it enough flavor. I want my my flavor back. And what I've seen so far of the Emperor's Children, it looks like it's super flavorful. Different units, you know what I mean? You've got different units. I hope they do different cultist units, like we were talking a little bit about. I want the differences in the armies. Give me different units. Don't let me take certain shit and give me different stuff, man. I'm totally okay with that. Certain armies not having access to certain things, but access to specific, marked units, chapter units, regiment units, whatever, man. Just make it so that shit's cool. It's a toy game, man. I want cool shit.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be interesting as things keep progressing forward. I mean, you've got Black Library Weekends, what goes up for pre-order next week. So you've got the new Minska, whatever the hell her name is, Link's book coming out. That'll push a little more of the Gord storyline forward. They're bringing back out some classic books because you got Titanicus coming back out, which is by far my favorite 40K book ever written. So it's going to be fun on the lore side of things coming forward.
I'm super psyched. I mean, granted, I'm a huge lore nerd, you know what I mean? But
yep.
I'm psyched about that. But I like seeing that on the table, though. I don't know. I just enjoy playing stuff like that. Like, what gets me going is the next fun new thing. You know what I mean? And I like stuff that's very story. I do want to get narrative tickets, by the way. I should probably do something about that. I want to play in the narrative at Nova.
Well, just to let you know, Brad, we're going to be doing a narrative event at Du Bois next year.
I'm playing
alongside competitive 40K.
I'm playing it.
I made this determination last week. This will be the first official talk of it. We're going to be doing a 36 player narrative event where everyone has to register. It's going to be run in pods. It'll be very story driven. You're going to have to register early. It's going to be
here's the thing. I'm a child and I'm not going to. Put me in there and I will hand you money when I have to hand you money. I've been saying that for a while and I keep playing competitive. I like competitive. Don't get me wrong. It's my jam. But I just see the narrative players are having so much goddamn fun all the time. I want that.
The big thing about narrative play, and because I discuss this a lot with someone who runs narrative events quite frequently, who has helped with bigger narrative events, and he was like, look, you tell everybody you need to be registered for this. Your registration date closes a month before the event, and you cap it right there. You don't add people in late. You're in. Then you set up little Discord channels for each area, and you say, hey, you have to submit your list to me. No, that's too much. It's not narrative. You have to take this out. You have to take this out. Add something else. And then you get the list set and you set your story for each battle. And then the next round, something changes and you give plenty of time for the rounds. These are not like a 3-hour round 40K event. This is hey, guess what? You're playing 2 rounds on Saturday. You're playing 2 rounds on Sunday. They're 4 hours.
I mean, I talked to those guys about their scenarios and stuff.
Yeah.
Like the Worlds narrative sounded way funner than the Worlds was. And of course I was dying then too, but anything sounded better than that. But it was a big deal that they had these wild scenarios, and I've just heard nothing but really good stuff for the most part. You know what I mean? From those tournaments. And I really enjoy scenario driven 40K. And I like to have to figure that one of my favorite things is trying to figure out how to win, you know what I mean, when you have wacky shit. I like solving the puzzle. So I like it.
And the one thing I can say and about narrative events that I like so much is, hey, guess what? Diversified terrain on boards. Tables are going to be unique. Things are going to be, hey, guess what? You're playing on a forest world. What's on that forest world? The Sky Shield landing pads, 2 bastions, and a whole lot of forests. But what else is on there? That's what's on there.
The thing is that figure it out. I don't know. I really love. I'm very looking forward to it. I'm 100% looking forward to it.
Yep.
It's so far away though. The place is so long from me.
It is November. I'm gonna try and get another one in somewhere this year if I have the stamina and chutzpah.
Sorry, there it goes. I just sat in proximity to Brad at Salt City and blacked out.
I don't know what you're talking about, Terry. We didn't see you asleep in a chair anywhere near us.
I'm gonna have to get props again to Salt City for you, brother. That is such a fun tournament. We always just have a great time.
So I am 80% sure I've been negotiating the contract for 3 weeks now. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I have it all set this week. It's been fun trying to get venues in Syracuse.
You know what we have to talk about, because we talk about it each time now, even though we've got plenty of time. What are we promoting this day, my friend?
I mean, by far, we're promoting the Motor City Major. Just outside Detroit. It is going to be a super major.
A stone's throw. Actually, well, the good thing is it's an actual easy. We made sure we knew this. It's a easy Uber or cab ride from the airport.
Yep. And the nice part about it is it's going to be very nice. Absolutely fantastic. It will be the first weekend in June. Registration's open right now on BCP.
Got it up right there.
Got it up right there. Of course, we will be getting more and more people signing for this as it goes. We're working on doing even more promotions. Brad is working on sponsors, at least he's supposed to be right now.
I am actually. Several of them.
And of course, we're also trying to I get a local brewery to support us or something else. We're trying every venue to make it an absolute bomb and blast of things to do.
All of the things, some of the stuff. I've been very excited about this. I'm very excited I want to make it a player's paradise. I just want all the cool things that everybody wants. You know what I mean? I want good stuff. We've got a meeting. Actually, you've got to get us our meeting time. Also, apparently Kicker is going to the desert somewhere, which is weird, but whatever.
Thank you, Nurgle Matt.
Oh, please. Look at Cody Dogger Pizza Place. I mean, I'm in. I mean, we've got table service. We were going to have lots of prizes. I just ordered all the trophies. I just got a bunch of other random stuff. We're going to have door prizes. We're going to have in-game prizes. I don't know. I really enjoy having a lot of small shit. You know what I mean? I don't really give a shit if I have a mountain of random pie support. I just want to have lots of fun. That's it. There you go. That's what I want.
And this is a strictly 40K event for this year. Of course, who knows as the years progress on this event. But it will be an absolute blast. If you've been to any events that I've run, I kind of run them all the same way. It's a little bit of a 40K tournament where we're having a party. And we enjoy having good times, telling stories at the end of the night and hanging out and enjoying everybody's company.
I'm going to be doing a class there too. Thursday.
Absolutely.
We're going to have so much stuff and things. God. And you're running a narrative. Man,
that's not happening until November.
I know, but I'm thinking about things I'm excited for. I can't. Whoa! You're thinking I'm going to stay on one topic? Are you crazy? We talked about multiple things in the last 5 minutes. I'm going to play narrative. I'm running a tournament. I mean, when I say I'm running a tournament, you're running the tournament. I'm going to look pretty and do things.
Oh, no. Hold on one second. Your ass is going to be judging.
I know.
It is not going to be just me and Zuber walking around that hall.
We got the Frank others too. We're gonna hit it.
And Brian from Rochester has volunteered to help us out. So there's 3 of us who are going to be there from my crew who are doing it. So, Andy, a 40K or a drinking class, those kind of go hand in hand.
I'll say there's my answer. I still think my favorite is when I was trying to. I was up at Everwinter, and I was like, hopefully they didn't. I was like, don't get the clip of this. I had my wine out, and I'm talking about, I can't remember what the whole thing with the tournament was, but one of the things I was talking about is basically trying to make sure that you have redundancy in what you're shooting at. You know what I mean? You got to make sure that you have enough things. And I go, you have to cheat. And I took a drink of wine. I go, that wasn't the best time to drink, and pause the dice to make sure that you have enough dice, and you got to cheat make sure if you get a column shift left or shitty rolls, you still achieve your fucking thing. And I was just like, well, that would have been terrible if somebody would have just clipped that. Just me drink.
I think what you're meaning is you have to get the dice to be in your favor.
Right. Well, I'm saying you have to you have to cheat your fate. Is my whole point.
Yeah.
You have to
slightly overcommit.
Correct. And we have to have the opportunity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if you send a bunch of shit in and it doesn't happen, you got to have something else to finish the job. You know what I mean? And that's so important to know what your potential average is, but also have a backup plan.
Yep.
Because sometimes 4-up saves happen, and you just stare at your opponent with an evil eye and think, "Hey, man, that's not cool."
Or you shoot a Norn emissary with emissary with 2,000 points of Eldar, and he stands there with 7 wounds left and goes, "Hey, how's it going?"
Or you do like I did to Juice last year, or you shoot a Norn emissary with 1 unit of flash kits, and he fails every save and instantly dies.
Yeah.
I'm like,
the way it goes.
I looked at him, I go, not trying to be a dick, but you dying kind of fucks up my plan because I can't charge now. He's like, well, I'm sorry to have messed up your pull. Well, Jesus, the pull sisters won by a landslide, which I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised either. Sisters were the biggest loser in that. And don't get me wrong, I think they can be fixed with some minor touches, but I think those minor touches have to be big point changes.
The goddamn drink. That is true. We're gonna rock though. I'm very excited for the tournament. I'm really excited that you run a narrative on it. I'm excited this year to play. Period. How about that?
So someone said, Brian, you have so many beautifully painted tables that legitimately just sit in boxes right now. I've got gorgeous AdMech tables, all kinds of the old City Fight tables, just tons of nicely painted stuff. Zuber's painted me a bunch of terrain recently, and I've got 11 brand new sets of the Kill Team terrain that just came out, and I would like to make use of all this stuff. And the way to do that is I can run a narrative event. So we're going to start out a small narrative event. We'll see how it goes, and who knows, maybe it'll become the big thing.
One of the things I've been wondering is, are we going to have different styles of 40K in the future? You know what I mean? We got narrative kind of just being small but growing, and we've always had competitive, I guess, open format. Will we get more formats? You know what I mean? Like, I was always wondering if we were going to have like 1,000-point leagues and stuff like that, or tournaments. You know what I mean? As part of other tournaments.
I really wish that Combat Patrol as a entry point for tournaments caught on, but players seem to push back at that a little bit, like established players. I don't think everyone thinks like, hey, if you as an established player come to a Combat Patrol thing, we're using the Combat Patrol rules, it opens the venue up to get more people to go to the big tournaments. If you run 1,000-point tournaments, there are people who just play 1,000-point games at home who were like, oh yeah, we never play 2,000 points because it takes too long. 1,000-point game I can get done in 2 hours.
Yeah.
In some cases, even less. And if you do that, it might open things up. I think the missing formula these days is the Highlander tournament needs to come back. For a while, I felt like the Highlander tournament, because of the way the armies were constructed and the way the rules were in 7th and 8th edition, was very hard to do. Now I think you could bring them back. There's enough diversity for most armies to pull that off.
We're doing it in Adepticon for a team list. Alan declared that I had to make 4,000-point lists and never use any data slate twice. Yeah. So I don't know. I enjoy restrictions and trying to figure out the best way on that. But I just like solving the puzzle. That's like my favorite thing besides lore in 40K, is just trying to figure out how I can solve whatever it is, whether it be terrain, mission, army, whatever. I like it a lot. Mike, 100%. We need more doubles events to get casual friends into competition. I like the doubles events quite a bit because one person can carry the other person, especially if they're super new to the game, so they can get in competitive games without feeling like
So
I'm going to get smashed.
So I like the thing that I wish we could run more of, and I don't know if this is I want to say I first saw it at Nova, but I could be wrong. The 3-man teams where everybody brings 1,000-point army. And then you have a doubles game going on and a singles game going on at 1,000 points. And you just do that as a format because you can always get 3 people in a car with armies and everything and off to an event for a weekend. I think that would be really fun because it allows you to do it in a relatively quick format. Doubles events typically take much less time, and it would be a really good time. I think it's something you could run and do them small. You don't have to do huge events with that, and you could have a great time.
I agree. You know, we're ending on that. That's what we're doing. We're doing stuff. We're doing things. We're Queens waving us out of here. Later, Gators. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight.